taking a 3-0 series lead, 110-97. Durant had 26 points. He did turn his ankle late in this game. We'll be covering that as we continue on here. Klay Thompson had 19. LaMarcus Aldridge had a double-double, but it was not enough. Now, Ettore Messina coached the Spurs because Greg Popovich's wife passed away, and here is Coach Messina at the podium.
Given how emotional the last 24 hours have been, especially for Manu and Tony, how pleased were you with the effort that the guys gave?
Well, I think that surely you said that, but I think in the all three games, the guys are playing hard, and I think on the defensive end, in all three games, we have tried to compete, to dive for loose balls, to switch, to change different things game to game. It's hard offensively because, as you see, we're having a hard time scoring against them. They're very athletic. They switch a lot. They try to take the ball away from LA hands as soon as he catches it. And on top of that, we're not shooting well. So it's been another challenging night. But as for the effort, the pride, and everything, there's just my hat off to the team. Thank you.
Coach, how close do you try to keep the rotations to what Pop normally does, or you just go with the feel of how the game was flowing?
No, we talked before the game, not only, let's say, after every game we discussed, and our goal was to try to have a little bit more of size unless the circumstances like foul or somebody being tired force us to go a little bit smaller. It's not an easy task because they have two Hall of Famer player with size on top of that. Not only great players, but also big, tall. So we put a smaller guy on him, they post them. We put somebody who's not as athletic as they are, we might lose him in the swing. So once said that, we tried, the overall purpose was to try to keep a little bit more of size and shooting on the court. Yeah.
Coach, en español una pregunta. Parecería que los Spurs están jugando buen básquetbol, pero por momentos quizá no alcanza para derrotar a un equipo como los Warriors. ¿Cuál sería el mensaje que le va a dar a sus jugadores o le van a dar para el próximo partido cuando ya es definitivo?
Bueno, creo que la cosa más sencilla que podemos decir es que primero no tenemos que estar deprimidos porque lo estamos intentando en todas las maneras y segundo, tenemos ofensivamente que seguir moviendo la pelota y seguir tomando tiros abiertos. Y más que esto no es algo que se puede inventar, pero que no tiene nada que tener vergüenza. Están jugando con gran actitud. Después de una temporada difícil, nos hemos metido en el playoff y tienen que estar orgullosos de lo que están haciendo en la pista. Does anybody need translation or you trust me? Okay. Trust me. Trust me. Okay, thank you. De nada.
Coach, when you're down in a 0-3 hole, how do you keep this team competitive? How do you keep their spirits up because of the circumstances?
You don't speak Spanish.
I don't. But I do trust you. I do.
That's already a good start, especially after we lost today. Thank you. I said to your colleague that, first of all, you got to fight the frustration for the losses. And for that sense that you have sometimes that you try and nothing works, which is not true. I mean, good things have happened. And the second thing is that defensively we need to try to keep improving in the small details because it sometimes is a late switch or we force them to a bad shot, one of the few, and then they get the offensive rebound. Those little things can be a factor in a game with this excellent team. Once said that, offensively, there is nothing else that keep trying to move the ball and find good shot and shoot the open shot. And that's it. You can't invent nothing more than that. And the last but not least, I think they have to be proud of what they've been doing in this very difficult year. They can't feel ashamed because they're losing 3-0 with the Warriors. I mean, we gotta be also proud of what we have accomplished being here. And Sunday's another day, and hopefully we'll get to Game 5.
Tony had his most productive offensive game in more than a month. What allowed him to break out tonight?
We should ask him. I have no idea. I think he probably felt better, and he was more aggressive, and he played his best game in the last 3-4 weeks. Exactly.
Coach, right here. Two questions. Will you be the coach Sunday? And are the rumors with you and Charlotte, is there anything to that at all?
I think that those are two questions that probably are not important tonight. What do you think? I don't think it's the right thing to make any comment on any rumors that is coming out on whoever that rumor comes about. And as for coach, we don't know. We'll talk. We'll see how he's. That's not the most important thing in this moment at all. Thank you.
Coach, with everything, I'm right here. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. With everything this team faced emotionally coming to this game, what was the hardest part for you in terms of preparation and getting the team
For me,
ready to play?
I mean, they've been great in the gym, and with the coaches, we discussed the plan. It was already discussed before everything happened, so there was, I mean, everybody tried to do his best, and I was more than fine. It was more, as you can understand, a sad time, okay, rather than anything else. There was already a problem, of course.
Coach, when you get out of this comfort zone like you have been the last 2 days, does it take a toll on the team? Does it hurt mental focus at all in getting ready for a game like this?
No, I don't think so. I think they're all great pros and great people. I think as a team, this is my answer. Individually, I guess that any different individual is going through his own personal things, and it's impossible for me to evaluate that. I think everybody did a fantastic job as players, as people working in the organization, as staff, and really trying to support each other and face this moment like it should be faced, with the support of friends. And there is nothing that can be faced individually at this level of, set event. So.
Coach Kerr's on his way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Game 4, Spurs and Warriors coming up Sunday afternoon. We now welcome Joe Borgia, NBA Senior Vice President of Replay and Referee Operations. Joe, first a compliment to you and Turner Sports. When Justin Anderson and Dwayne Wade got into it in that Miami-Philly game, they immediately went to you for instant analysis. I thought that was incredible and a really great gesture and move by you for the sake of NBA fans out there wondering. Now, let's start at the top here in Miami, and a quick movement on the floor from James Johnson ended up being ruled a travel. Was this the correct call on the floor, Joe?
Yeah, Rick, thank you for your comments, first of all. And so now let's go to the play. So what you're going to see is a drive, and then the question is the pass released prior to him landing to the floor? And I think what you're going to see is on the next replay, we're going to freeze it because even in slow motion, it's a little hard to see. But the player has to release the ball before return. You can see his foot's returned to the ball. The ball is still in his hand. Therefore, that is a traveling violation.
And, Joe, moving down to New Orleans, a pretty physical play here from C.J. McCollum. Can you talk to us about why this was ruled a common foul and not upgraded to a flagrant?
So the officials come over to review it, so we give them a few different angles. And what they're looking for is the flagrant foul criteria. Was Anthony Davis in a vulnerable position? How hard was the contact? Was it a basketball play? I think McCollum gets a little bit lucky here because it's sort of not a basketball play. He goes in with his forearm. But where he gets lucky is he doesn't really hit him flush. He sort of grazes him on his side a little bit. So the officials felt the contact just wasn't hard enough. Anthony Davis didn't hit the ground hard. It was, low injury. So you put it all together, and like I said, McCollum got a little lucky. He didn't hit him square. I think if he got him square and knocked him on his butt and, higher potential for injury, you would have saw flagrant. But for tonight, it was just a common foul.
Joe, we appreciate the information. We appreciate the transparency and your time. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of the playoffs, and we'll be catching up with you soon.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
All right, Joe Borgia there in the NBA Replay Center. And now Steve Kerr following this victory that has put his team up 3-0.
Steve, two things. One, do you have any update on how Kevin and Sean are doing?
Yeah, I think they're going to be okay. Sean's was probably a little worse than Kevin's, both sprained ankles, but I think they'll be all right.
What was, obviously the three-point shooting was the difference with the first and second half numbers. What helped tilt the scale when you look at that category?
I think our defense just consistently over the game was the difference. Neither team shot it that well from three, obviously. And they missed some that they probably would normally make. But I think over the course of the game, our defense was excellent, and that's the main difference. Because if we can defend and get stops, obviously we've got a lot of guys who can get out in transition and score.
Steve, any concern on the first half kind of playing with the Spurs pace again and not being able to sort of dictate the terms of this game?
No, I mean, it's a playoff game. We're on the road. We're not going to be able to dictate, the entire game. And so this was about, what I expected. First half, they were getting after us like they did in game two, and we stayed with it. We had some bursts, and as I said, the whole point is just take care of the ball and defend over 48 minutes, and things should work out.
Steve, with you being so close to the organization, how's the last 24 hours for you with everything that happened?
Not great. Very, very difficult. It was strange tonight looking down the sidelines and not seeing Pop. And spoke with him today, and it's a very difficult time, obviously, for Pop and his family, but for all of us who love Pop and loved Aaron and feel for the whole family. So it's a difficult day.
Draymond had 4 blocks, and I think it's his most since before the All-Star break. How have you seen him defensively in this series, and how has that helped the rest of the team defensively?
He's been fantastic defensively. He's all over the place. This is a team that you have to disrupt. They're excellent with their execution. And so you have to try to take them out of things. And Draymond is as good as anybody I've ever seen in terms of recognizing a play and blowing it up. And he's been great.
You look like you really leaned on Kevon Looney, particularly in the first half. And is that as good as you've seen him play defense so far this season in the first half?
He's played solid defense all year, and we like him because he can get out and switch onto guards and still protect the rim. And I thought Kevon was tremendous tonight. I thought his defense and just his solid play offensively was really important for us.
Coach, what did you see from, I guess, the mentality of the team and having to deal with Spurs' best shot, an emotional night? How do you think they handled the mentality of it?
I thought the guys handled it really well. We had a couple of moments in the game where we got a little squirrely with the ball. It wasn't a high turnover game, but it wasn't a clean game either. We had a lot of plays in transition where we did not take care of business. We should have scored, and we were kind of throwing some silly passes and not quite getting the shots we should have. But all in all, I was really impressed with the defensive intensity and just the overall play. All right, thank you.
Steve Kerr on to his preparations for Sunday, and it's time for tonight's smooth finish of the night.